Hey, welcome to the Junk Project. I'm your host, Michelle Hill, and today we have the awesome opportunity to be joined with our guest, Scott Paulsen. Hey, Scott, how's it going?
It's another day in paradise. I love it here in Houston, Texas. We had some storms earlier today, but now the sun is out, the birds are chirping, and it is absolutely beautiful. It's one of those rare 75-degree days in Houston.
That's beach weather there, I think. I don't know.
That's right. That's right. I've got all sorts of friends who say, why can't we have this kind of weather every day?
Yeah.
And my reply to them is, well, because then we'd get a million more people living here and all the houses would be, $2 million and they'd call it San Diego.
I know people are like moving to Dallas Fort Worth, and I'm like, please stop. We
Oh
have
my
traffic
gosh.
problems now.
Oh
Stop.
my gosh, you tell me about it. It's like half of California just upped and moved to Texas. And
Yeah.
my biggest thing is, when I first moved to Houston, which was in 1994, that's when I graduated from college, and I moved to Houston, and I've been here ever since. When people cut us off in the freeway, they'd wave and say, "Thank you." And it's like, okay. That kind of stopped about 5 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. But now I see more fingers than I see waves.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, don't California my Texas, man. Come on.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I haven't been to Houston or Galveston, wow, in like 20 years. So
Yeah,
in
Galveston's
a
a
while.
lot different.
I've heard a little bit. I haven't heard it's been great. Beaches aren't
Mm,
that nice, but yeah, it's been a long time. Um,
yeah. When
long
I
time.
when I want to hit the Gulf Coast, I drive the extra distance down to Corpus. I go down there, and it's what Galveston really used to be, maybe about 20-25 years ago,
Yeah,
what Galvin dreamed of being 25 years ago. So
yeah,
that's where I go for the beach now. It's worth the extra drive.
right. That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about what you do.
Well, Michelle, first of all, thanks for having me on. It is a great pleasure and a great honor. And I am the founder of Paulsen Coaching and the Sales Sherpa methodology, the Sales Sherpa program. And what I do is I help small business owners, independent consultants, solopreneurs convert more of their leads on which they've spent a lot of money and effort to generate. Help them convert more of those into paying customers in a
Nice.
nutshell.
Yeah, that paying customers are good. They help.
Oh yeah, it keeps the world going around, right?
Yeah, well, I've had a few, you know, ironically go, can you do this for free? No, do you work for free? No, that's called volunteering. No, I'm not
Right.
volunteering. So,
That's right. Oh, I get that too. It's very and it's so easy for people who have like that servant kind of mentality, who
yeah,
have a bigger heart, to just say, well, yeah, I can help,
yeah,
and we all want to help in some way, shape, or
yeah,
form. But at the end of the day, the best way to help others is to get paid for what we're doing, so that we continue to be around to
right,
help others.
right,
And this is one of the things that I talk about in a lot of our sales training. One of the biggest problems that I have to help overcome with my customers is discounting. They get a little bit of customer resistance, about the price. Can you do this for free? Can you at least
yeah,
discount it? And again, being some people who are so eager to just get the business or to help somebody out. Oh yeah, absolutely, I'll discount it, whatever, 10, 20, 30%.
yeah,
I'll do it for half price. I just want to get the business. My we were talking about calendars earlier. My
yeah,
calendar's wide open. let,
yeah,
let me just fill it up, by discounting a little bit. um, but that does us a disservice, and
yeah,
that does our customers a disservice, because every time we interact with a potential customer or customer, we are setting their expectations. And to put it succinctly, we're training them in what to
hmm,
expect from us. And so if we train them to expect discounts from us, we're hurting ourselves, number one, but we're also hurting them, because they're not getting the full value, or they're not experiencing the full value of the service that we provide, or the product that we're delivering. So one thing that I do to try to help sales professionals overcome this discounting mentality is building up their sense of value. And a lot of salespeople, believe this or not, really hold our own profession, hold sales in low regard. What do
yeah.
you think of when I say salesperson? Yeah. You
Yeah.
got the picture of the used car salesman, or, in a cheap tweed suit or something like that, a shyster, a snake oil kind of salesperson,
Yeah.
whatnot. Well, a lot of salespeople kind of carry that connotation as well, and they discount the value that they bring to the relationship with their customers. And there's a lot of value that you bring to your customers, right? So I'll kind of turn a question back on you. What is the biggest value that you bring to your customers?
What we do, and this is what I explain with my customers, because you're going to have people who are cheaper than us, or if you're comparing us to a dumpster, and the value that we bring is, we're going to show up. We are showing up to do the job no matter what. And we do the entire process. We'll continue to communicate with the customer. Sometimes the customer's not on site and the stuff is outside, or maybe it's inside and the customer lives out of town and they need the house cleaned up. And so we communicate with the customer, and hey, this is where we're at, this is what we've got left. I constantly send them pictures, let them know the update. And because to me, communication is key. I want to know what's going on, and are you done? I mean, is this going to be a 2-day project? And sometimes you don't know until you get in there. And so I like to let the customers know, constantly what's going on, and hey, all right, we had a little trouble with this or whatever. And so, and it's funny because we've had some customers that maybe have no problem paying $2,000 for a removal, and they're poor, or they don't have much money. If you look at their house, okay, I'm going to compare their house because I don't know how they are, but their house is dilapidated, right? And they'll pay that. And then you go to a rich person and beautiful house, and they're like, no, that's too expensive. But then I've had the same thing reversed. I've had, people say, oh, rich people don't mind paying it. And so it is about value, and it's about what you're willing to pay, because I'm not Joe Bob on the street, going to do such a crappy job, or, stock your house or anything weird or whatever, the kind of people you really don't want driving by your house, and so like I had a customer a few years ago. She sent a picture of a pile of brush, like tree limbs and stuff. Okay, well, for one, it's very difficult to estimate off a pile, right? And so I bid it.
A picture,
So sometimes I'll just bid high. I'd rather bid high than low. So anyway, I bid it at like $275, and she had a guy come by and bid it $50. And I said, okay, but she was really mad at me, right? So she sends me a letter and says I'm too expensive and I shouldn't be gouging. And I said, okay, well, let me ask you this. The cheapest dump is $35. Okay. And that's in Dallas, and you're in Arlington. So you're about 30-40 minutes. That doesn't account for his gas or his labor or his time or his taxes, if he pays it, much, or does it count for his insurance? And then
if he has it.
Yeah. And then commercial insurance, which you got to have. So I don't see where he's going to do it, but dump it on the side of the road. There you go. She didn't say anything else. So that's what we bring. We don't bring what that guy just brought. We bring the safety and security and the insurance,
peace of mind. I mean, there's peace of mind with that too, right? I mean, that, hey, what I'm getting rid of is not going to end up in somebody's ditch or in some community that's already living like a trash dump anyways. Because we got, I mean, I hate to say it, but we've got a problem in Houston, and I'm sure the same thing around Dallas. Different communities that just end up being dumps. People go and just dump their trash there, and the people who live there, I mean, what are they supposed to do about it? Now, if a homeowner is fine with that, not worried about it, then that's on their conscience, and fantastic. You save $125, or in this case, I guess $225. That's what they sold their conscience for. So you were mentioning to me earlier, and I want to add to your value discussion here. You were describing to me about that staircase, how this huge staircase that you had to take, a curved staircase you had to take out of a customer's home, and it was just you, and the person was all concerned, well, are you going to be able to do it? And you said, well, if you're okay with me being here for 2 hours to do,
Yeah.
to just tear it out. And there was one thing that you mentioned that has stuck with me, is you took it apart piece by piece by piece. So little pieces of glass, dust and splinters wouldn't be all throughout their carpet or throughout their house.
Right.
That's a high level of care.
Yeah.
Now tell me that Billy Bob, who did the $50 job, would come in there and do the same kind of care and have that kind of same, concern for their customer's house.
Yeah. And ironically, I get that a lot. So one of my favorite customers, right? It was a big job and my guy did not show up. I was supposed to have help on this job. And here I am promoting my business. And so my guy did not show up. I don't call and say, okay, my guy didn't show up for work today. We can't come take care of your removal, because here I am promoting that I can do your job. So I show up and immediately he goes, you can't do this. I go, wait a minute. Did you not just hire me to do this? And he goes, yeah, but you can't do this. And I knew what he was, implying. I said, I tell you what, here's what we're going to do. If I can't do this job, I will hire my competition to come take care of it for me. Right. And I will throw in $100 for you for the inconvenience of having to do this. I said, but if I can do the job, you will pay my bid. You will add another $100 too for my inconvenience that you caused me.
Okay.
And he goes, no, I'm not doing that. And I go, why not? He goes, because if you bet on yourself, I know you're going to win. I said, you're damn straight. Can I get started now? Never had a problem. So,
there you go. That's confidence right there. That's the kind of confidence you take to a job, that you're going to get it done and get it done right. Correct.
That's it. It's coming with me one way or another. And, it's just funny because I'm 5 foot. So I get it. I look at, people the same, and I'm like, I don't know, and then I'm surprised too. So I get it, but I'm definitely determined. And so when people see that, hey, wow, in fact, I have another customer this Friday, the same thing. She was worried about if I could do the job or not. So I have a 30 or 20-second clip of me loading a refrigerator by myself. And she
Holy
goes,
cow.
Yeah. And she goes, okay, you got it. So I know you can take care of this job, because she's like, I don't know if you can handle some of the heavy stuff. I sent her that clip. She goes, yeah, you got it.
Wow, that's amazing. All right, so let me ask you this: how long have you been in this business, in the junk removal business, and what got you into it in the first place?
So I like how this has switched into a different podcast. You're asking me questions.
Yeah, I'm interested. I want to know about your business.
All right. So I've been in this business 8 years. And my joke is I'm not educated. Meaning I didn't go to college. Okay.
Okay. Well, that just means you don't have a degree. Doesn't mean you're not educated.
No. Yeah. But I'm physical labor or manual labor is my expertise, right? I'm good at that. So before I got into junk removal, I was driving 18-wheelers and delivering fuel in the DFW area.
Okay.
And so I love physical labor most of the time,
Okay.
There's times I'm like, I really don't want to do anything, but I do love it. So I wanted to find something not only that was physical and I could get dirty and not worry about it, because staying clean doesn't work for me. I wanted something that I really could help people with in, when they feel like they got something they want to get rid of and they can't get rid of it, or they don't know how. And, maybe they don't want some big bulky guy coming in their house,
Yeah. Some big burly sweaty fella.
Yeah. Stinky dude.
Right.
So, I wanted to offer something that, to let people know that, we are reliable. We are accountable. We will take care of your property. We'll take care of you. We can take these things out, anything that, when you have a lot of stuff, or even if you just have a few things, and you know how it is, maybe you're getting a new couch and you're like, I don't know how to get rid of this couch. I can't move it. I don't have the strength to move it, or maybe I just don't have the people to help move it. So it causes stress and anxiety and depression and frustration. And that's what I'm that problem solver right there. We get rid of all that for you. So,
okay. Well, I guess you have to be pretty creative in how you remove it, because you don't have, how should I phrase this properly? You don't have the big muscle power from the way
Yeah.
that it sounds.
Well,
Okay.
and it's funny because sometimes I do have help, and we'll go to remove a couch, and the guys are like, I don't know how to get it out, or you were struggling to get it out. I'm like, I can tell you this right now, the house was not built around this, so it got in here somehow. It's
True.
coming out, right?
Right.
So when you start talking like that, then they're like, oh, okay, let's find some other ways. It just makes people think, because they, you got to open that. You think out of the box sometimes. I mean, sometimes I'll get those sleeper couches, is the ones with the beds in them.
Oh, those things are heavy.
Oh yeah. So I take them apart. I mean, that's how I solve that problem.
Well, I guess it's being thrown away anyways. It's being discarded. So what does it matter if it's in one piece or in 20 pieces, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the only way. I mean, I can physically get it out, because sometimes it's just too heavy. So yeah, I'll just sit there and take it apart. Takes me a little longer. Customers,
little out of the box thinking, right?
Yeah. There's always a way. It might not be what I want to do or the solution I'm looking for, right? But it's the solution, and it works, and I run with it. So.
Oh, very cool. So tell me, do you service like the entire DFW area? I mean, that's a large area. What is your area of operation?
As far out as they're willing to pay.
Okay, you got mileage, and now with gas, what it is, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not franchised, because I started this company, so I have no limitations.
Okay.
At this point.
And what about your customers? I mean, how do you find your customers? Is it marketing, or do you have a sales team? Is it word of mouth? How are you getting your leads and getting your customers?
So I've been doing this 8 years. So the majority of my customers are repeat customers or referrals.
Okay.
And I get a few new ones here and there. I guess I ask, and all I get is like the internet. So I don't know. I guess they find me on the internet. So I'm working on redoing my website right now to do more organic. I do pay for leads with some companies. And that's
like
how
on
I
an
found
Angie's list. Or I guess it's now Angie's. It's not Angie's
yeah.
list anymore.
Yeah, I don't do them, but there's other companies that I work with. And but a lot of it for 8 years is just mainly repeat customers and referrals. So
well, nice. I mean, if you get a lot of repeat business, that means you must be doing something right.
It's a huge compliment. We had our commercial customer call us 50 times last year. So
oh wow.
Yeah. That's a compliment. Counted.
Yeah, that's like
invoices.
once a week.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was busy. So yeah, I love our customer. I love all of them. They're awesome. So they're amazing. But I'm going to turn this around back on you now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I like how that got flipped, but it was really good. Really good. So how do you get your customers?
Well, so I gotta tell you, I'll be very candid and blunt about this. The world changed in many ways a couple of years ago. The pandemic, centered around the pandemic, pre-pandemic, and I launched Paulsen Coaching. It was after Thanksgiving of 2019, so it was during December. I was really I'd been working with a company that does workplace personality assessments based here in Houston. Great company, but they brought in a new executive. They got rid of the president who hired me to come in and build a B2B sales team, and they brought in somebody else, and that person wanted to go a different direction. And even though my sales team was doing a great job, it doubled sales in 2 years, they said, nope, we're headed in a different direction. You and your team, you're gone. And I was the first one to go, and then slowly my team members got let go after that.
Wow.
So as I was in that flux of, okay, I got to find a new job, I really had to contemplate what my career was going to go at, because I was almost 50 years old at the time. And so I'm going to work for somebody else, even if it's a small company, if it's a big company, I'm going to be building somebody else's organization. And I'm kind of tired of being at the whims of executives like this. And so I started Paulsen Coaching. And initially, our first round of customers came from, the Rolodex, because we do sales and marketing consulting and leadership consulting. So I had a lot of, I've been in the Houston area since 94. So going on 30 years, I've been in sales for almost 30 years now. So I had a Rolodex on which to build, but we started with telemarketing. I had a lot of 42, 43, 1099 cold callers, basically,
Wow.
and found a bunch of customers that way. We were doing, performing outsourced sales management services. I still have a handful of customers that I do with. But then everything changed in the pandemic. And when people were out of the office and businesses are
Oh,
closed down, they can't be reached on the phones. And a lot of companies close their doors permanently as well. So we've been trying to figure it out over the last 12 months. And we're telemarketing and even email marketing were our strong suits pre-pandemic. The world of marketing has changed a lot. And
yeah.
getting into this social marketing, it is a very unique formula that we are still trying to crack. We're starting to get ramped back up, and we think we found our little niche, our little formula with it. So a lot
Hmm.
of our leads now are coming through LinkedIn, doing LinkedIn live videos through Paulsen Coaching, doing a lot of organic social. And even the old way of sharing value, giving out the value piece for
Yeah.
lead flow, download this report
Yeah.
or this little freebie here. That's even changed a lot. And so it's had us scratching our head quite a bit. We've gone to a lot of marketing firms, the digital marketers that are out there all over Facebook and all over LinkedIn.
Hmm.
We've gone through a number of programs that people who say, well, we've got the new formula. It doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what we've found, is we've actually found a little niche out here, a little segment of the market, independent consultants,
Hmm.
um, who have done the same thing. They've gone out to the digital marketing agencies. They've generated lead flow because, marketing, whether it's inside a company or whether it's a marketing service, a marketing agency, they judge themselves based on the number of leads that they deliver
Right.
and not necessarily the quality of those leads.
Right.
And so I work also now with a number of independent consultants. How do they nurture and build those leads, and how do they really build a selling process once they've gotten that lead?
Hmm.
And how do they develop that customer, that relationship from lead all the way through to paying customer?
Hmm.
And that's what we've been able to do well over the last 12 months, is kind of take that problem area out there in the marketplace and help other people go through it.
Have you ever thought of doing like a small seminar or something where people come to pay, right? It doesn't, I mean, maybe 20 people. It doesn't have to be big, but just start something like that, that people come in and maybe learn some things, or, you know, whatever
That's
you could
that's that's
share.
a great question. That is a great question. So that's kind of what's pulled us out of the outsourced sales management,
Hmm.
because basically, I mean, I've only got so many hours in a day, just like you,
Yeah.
right? I got the
Yeah.
same amount of minutes, same amount of hours, and I can only have in those hours a certain number of customers. So it's not very scalable for me to work with,
All right.
every single organization that I could. I have a limitation. So what we are doing to scale this is actually just that. We have online training. We've
Oh,
got
cool.
online live training that we're doing. We're starting to build that into on-demand training as well. And that's why we're getting more into the coaching side of things, which is
Hmm.
really my strong suit. I don't know if you can notice behind me, but I used to be a collegiate athlete, and my
Yeah.
my goal in college was to be a college coach. I wanted to coach track and field. But there weren't many openings in 1994 when I was graduating. So I had to go into the real world and find a real job. And my first job was as a stockbroker here in Houston.
Wow.
And I've been selling ever since.
That's
And
awesome.
I tell you what, the stock market was something crazy. And if you've ever seen that movie Boiler Room, I think that was either late 90s or early 2000s. Uh, that's the kind of environment that I learned my sales chops in, so to
Yeah.
speak. But going back to what I've always wanted to do was be a college coach, a track coach, and I still coach youth athletes.
Oh, how
Um,
fun.
yeah, my kids are all grown up; they're in college now,
Wow.
and I still work with a couple of high school athletes, some middle school athletes, coaching them because that fills my tank.
Yeah.
That just for some that energizes me. And
Yeah.
so even coaching sales professionals, that I could do all day long, helping them become the best that they possibly can be, getting their skills up leveled and applying that and really accomplishing what they are capable of accomplishing. And when I see somebody do that, reach to that next level and accomplish that, that to me is like a big feather, the proverbial feather in my cap and the badge of honor. It's like, fantastic. That person just did a lot better. So that's kind of where we're going.
I love it. I love it. So I have some, random questions I'm going to ask. All right.
Okay.
All
Fire
right.
away.
All right. So one of the questions is, if you could have a billboard with anything on it, what would it say?
I could have a billboard with anything on it. What would it say? Trust Jesus.
Oh, I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go to Lakewood Church here in Houston, and some people don't like the big churches, but that place changed my life. And there's just trust Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus got it.
I have a joke about God. So I get headaches often, right? And I know it's God smacking me in the back of the head going, are you listening yet? That's why I keep getting them, because apparently I'm not listening. And he'd quit smacking me if I'd start listening. So that's my little inside joke on my headaches.
Okay, so that's on the front of my head. It's like that. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I get it in the back of the head. So it's like, All right. So the next question is, if you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Oh, that's easy. I either want to fly or be able to jump real high.
Oh, nice.
Or be really fast. Those three things.
Yeah. All right. And how would your family and friends describe you?
Family and friends. Determined, but kind of goofy. My boys would tell you that, I'm goofy and do some goofy things. I'm guilty of dad jokes. Co-workers would tell you I'm determined. I've just always been determined and goal oriented. I don't know why, but I feel like I was born that way, that when I get focused on a goal, it's like singular vision and everything else is like, no.
Yeah. I like that. I think I'm going to do my own eulogy, and because I know people are going to think that like I'm not dead, because they'll think I'm going to pop up or something. So I think it'd be funny just to have my own eulogy, do my own speech.
Oh, that would be funny.
Yeah. And I love birthday cake and helium balloons. So I'll just fill the place with all that. So.
Oh yeah. I got quite the sweet tooth as well. I can't have just one piece of cake.
Oh man, I tell you, I don't know if I should say this, because I don't want to jinx myself, but if I'm able to, on my deathbed, I want candy corn and circus peanuts. That's it. I just want to die eating it, because I don't buy it, because I have no, I won't stop. I mean, especially if I buy like several bags, I'll literally eat all the bags. So I'm not allowed to buy it, because I don't have any control over how much I eat. So,
See, that's the secret. And I'm the same way. Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what size box of Whoppers or Milk Duds or licorice. I'm a black licorice guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how much of it I have here. It's gone.
Yeah.
It doesn't last 24 hours. And so my secret is, okay, when I buy it, I buy the single serving, or I just don't buy it at all. I will not buy anything more than a pint of ice cream.
Yeah.
Because if I buy a gallon or a half gallon of ice cream or something like that, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. I'll just find myself nibbling at it. So I got to be more health conscious than that.
That's about how I am. All right. So what is your biggest challenge?
Biggest challenge?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the biggest challenge is still this marketing thing. And I feel like we're making headway and figuring it out and starting to get good lead flow again. But the biggest challenge even inside of that was sifting through all of the noise, all of those marketers out there with this system and that system and the other system. And, you got to do it on Facebook. You got to do it on LinkedIn. you got to have YouTube ads. You got to, ditch. I just love it when people say, like on Facebook, how you can build 1 million followers without using a paid ad. You're using a paid ad.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a lot of noise out there, and really just kind of getting through it. And even the gurus out there, what I love is I on purpose I schedule calls with these gurus, their sales teams, because they are under that same illusion that just because I scheduled a call with them, that somehow I've got my wallet in my hand and I'm
Yeah.
ready to buy something.
Yeah.
And I just listen to their selling, and it's like, guys, I don't know what they're teaching you over there. And there was one organization, I won't mention this gentleman by name, okay, but he bills himself as the greatest closer in the world, and his sales team was nothing but a bunch of younger, actually it was just a bunch of young guys. I don't think I really heard any female voices in the back. And just trying to be all energy. Hey, you got to do this because it's we're going to 10x your business. And
Yeah.
do you even know my name?
Yeah.
You haven't called me by name once. I'm sorry, Mr. Paulsen. That's awesome. I just get real excited, and I've looked at your website, and I think that type of coaching that you do is just so great. Like, did you really look at my website? Because it's kind of all over my website. Precisely what I do, and it's not a type of coaching. It's sales. It's all there. It's sales.
Yeah.
Well, and it was like, all right, thank you guys. So I like kind of giving those sales teams a hard time, because it goes to prove something that I've just kind of believed for a while, which is they're all marketing.
Yeah.
They're all in
talk.
Texas, they're all hat and no cattle.
Yeah. I like the ones who can't even pronounce all junked up or my name, right? And they're like, or are you the owner? You should know, I would think so. Sometimes I've entertained them a few, or what I'll do, I don't really entertain them. I just let them, they'll talk. They don't even give you a chance to say anything. And I'll let them talk. I'll just listen, because I'll be usually driving or something. I'm like, whatever, and then they'll say something, and I'm like, okay, I'm not interested. Thank you. So you wasted like, I don't know, 2 minutes talking to me,
Yeah.
And then one lady called and she asked me a question and was going, blah, 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 blah. Are you with me? I said, I am with you, but I'm not interested. Click.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give a free sales tip to anybody who's listening to this, if they're in sales. Okay. Like I said, I started off as a stockbroker, and what I had to do, my first day in, I was getting paid $1,000 a month. And I was studying for my Series 7 exam, and I had to make 300 dials a day, make sure I talked to at least 30 people a day, and close 3 deals a day. And if I closed 3 deals a day, they all went to my supervising broker, because I wasn't licensed, I couldn't earn the commission, right? And so 30 days into it, I was ready to quit. I was like, man, this is horrible. They didn't really train me to do anything. They just said, get on the phone, here's a script, blah, 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 blah. And I thought I had to sell everybody.
Yeah.
And man, that was a losing proposition, and it was so defeating, because I'm naturally an optimistic person, and people hanging up on me and saying no and blah, blah, blah. I was like, man, this is horrible. I can't deal it. I'm a pretty determined guy, but I can't handle this, and I got to look for another job.
Yeah.
And then I found one book that changed my career, and I still remember it. I still have it here somewhere. It is Prospecting Your Way to Sales Success by Bill Good. And that taught me that, number one, you're not selling everybody. Right. You're looking for that customer. You're looking for, let's just call it the needle in a haystack. I used to call it a dollar bill, $100 bill in a trash can. And my job was to disqualify people as quickly as possible so I could find that $100 bill. So within the first minute on the phone that we're talking, I'm going to know whether or not you are an interested candidate or not. Miss Hill, my name is Scott Paulsen. I work with Paulsen Coaching here. I founded it, and we help small business owners like you increase their sales by improving process, improving their selling skills, and just making everything, flow smoother throughout the entire process. Yeah. So let me ask you this. Are you trying to improve your sales at this point in time? And if the answer is no, say, okay, great. I'll try to call you back in a few months and see if anything's changed. The answer is yes. Okay, fantastic. Would you be willing, do you have 15, 20 minutes to sit through, a phone call? If not now, then I can do something, in the coming days.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to qualify you or disqualify you as quickly as possible. I'm going to be very polite, professional about it. Yeah. But I want to find those people who are interested and have the ability to do what I'm doing, and have that problem, which I'm good at solving.
Yeah.
Not everybody has that problem, and not everybody has a problem that I can solve. But
Right.
if you happen to have that problem that I'm good at solving, guess what? I'm going to work for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and it's funny because I've learned I really don't want everyone as a customer, especially I can tell, like you said, in the first minute or so, if it's going to be a problem, you know, if,
Yep.
you know, I'm not going to say they're bad people, but if I see it's just, I can
They're
tell
just
that
not good customers.
yeah, they're not good customers. They,
Yeah.
you know, what, for whatever reason, I'm like, you know what? So either bid it's like super crazy high, or usually what I do is just say, you know what, we are not the right company for you. You know, I would keep checking or whatever, you know.
That's right. You know,
Yeah.
I've turned down customers before, companies, small business owners who wanted to try to negotiate the upfront fee that we had, which is very modest in the first place. You know, we're
Yeah.
talking a couple $1,000s.
Mhm.
And my point to them is, when we were trying to build outsourced sales teams, like, look, if you're having a problem paying $2,500 for me to get started building a sales team for you, you're going to have a big problem paying us the commissions that we earn 2 months, 3 months, 4 months down the road.
Right.
And I don't want to negotiate that with you every single time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so we're probably not a fit.
Yeah. And I've had some, I just had one, in fact, I think Thursday, you know, I gave him a price and he wanted to negotiate. And I said, okay, look, I can do your price if you help me load it, right?
Right.
Because then I don't
Yeah.
have to bring my guy. He's like, no, I can't, I'm at work. Okay, then it's going to be this price. There you go. You know, so I've done that too. But, you know, that way, some people who are a little money tight, that's fine. If I don't have to bring my guy, and you're going to help me, then I have no problem doing that.
See, I love that. That's what I call the yeah, but style of negotiation.
Yeah.
Never say no, right? But, you know, give them a yes, but yeah,
Yeah.
but, you know, here's what I need in return, right? You want to give me a counter offer? Fantastic. Here's variables that I can introduce into the equation. Let's try to work with them and come up with something.
It's funny you say that. So I don't know if Houston has it, but Fort Worth, this was founded in Fort Worth. We have a comedy club called 4-Day Weekend, and they
Okay.
are improv, right? And they offer free classes on the weekend. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe I'll learn to be funny. That's not really why I took the class. I took it because I wanted to be better at speaking. And one of the things that they have is, because when you're improving, you don't want the other person to go, no, but, right? Because then you have nothing to go off of. So what they do is, if you're doing something and then I go, yes, and, right? Now we can go. So they have a book called Happy Accidents. It's one of the best books I've really read, because I'm a very optimistic and positive person. And I love it because it's not about no, but it's about yes, and. So you take your customers' issues,
there you go,
and you go, yes, and, right? Now, it's hard to remember because I still struggle remembering yes, and, but that is how they do their improv, you know? And so I've only made the one class so far, but they teach several classes, like different kinds of classes, but it's really fascinating. So if they're not in Houston, maybe check some other comedy clubs. But
yeah, I know there's some improvs around Houston that have open mics. I can't remember their names, but I've seen them before.
Now, this isn't open mic. This is an actual class. And they teach you, like, for, it was really funny. One of the things that we did was pretend you're rich and what's your name. All right. So if you're rich, what would your name be?
Filthy Megabucks.
Okay. So like some people were like Bartholomew and Theodore, you know, fancy names, right? They go, what's your name? I said, my name's Bob. So whatever, right? Bob can be rich too. He doesn't need a fancy name for that. But it was stuff like that, right? And it was just, I mean, it was just cool, just things to learn. And especially if you're going to speak, I would definitely suggest like taking these classes. But it was just fascinating, and just a different way to think. But they're not now they might, after the classes, invite you to one of their improv shows to perform with them. But you know, you don't don't do that for that reason. But the classes were there just to help you be a better speaker. It's not so much about being funny, but it is about, just being more positive and how to continue a conversation like yes and.
Oh, very cool. It sounds like a very positive alternative to Toastmasters.
Yeah, and I've
Or
dropped out of
entertaining, I should say
Toastmasters.
entertaining alternative.
Yeah, they don't count all your ands, ifs, ands, buts, whatever, because like Toastmasters, I keep dropping it. I never make the meetings, but I wish I could go. So I'm like, I know when I talk,
I'll have to look for one around here.
Yeah, I know when I talk, people are going, oh, she said and like 10 times already. And so, and but whatever.
Well, and that's funny because like I said, I do I've been doing a lot of LinkedIn lives and they give you the recorded version of it. And I started listening to the recorded version of it. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Okay. I had to stop doing it. I was like, I'm critiquing myself. And you know what? I don't want to be all scripted and, I just kind of want to, do my thing,
Well, eventually, the more you do it, the better you get. I mean, that's exactly what Toastmasters is. The only difference is they point out to you how many times you've used these crutch words, right? So, well, maybe a little other things, but you can do the same thing. I just figure I'll learn it on the fly. I'll learn how to be a better speaker by speaking.
Well, see, that's how you become self-educated. You said earlier you weren't, you weren't educated, but you just don't have a degree. You're completely educated.
Yeah.
You've educated yourself by that school of hard knocks, right?
Yeah. Well, and I had a customer the other day wanted me to measure their fence. So it wasn't a typical wooden fence, right? Because they wanted me to take some of it down. It was like a metal fence, but I don't know how to measure the way the metal fence was. So I researched Google how to measure a fence, and it came up with an app called GeoMeasure. So in this app, I click, it gives you options, right? So you can manually measure or some other way, or GPS. Well, obviously GPS, because I got no measurement tools with me. So I click on GPS, I stand there at the fence, and then as I walk, it measures, and you got like 15 options. So it can measure in feet and yards and stuff. So I was like super proud. They ended up having their other guys tear down the fence, but I'm like, I didn't care. I was so proud that I figured this out. How am I going to measure this fence? I don't know how to do this stuff. This is not what I typically do. So I figured it out, found the app, downloaded the app, measured her fence, almost was ready to give her an estimate when she canceled, but I'm like, hey, I'm good. I don't care.
And you learn something new.
Yeah. So I love that. I love having to think out, I love the challenges, I love those. That's probably my favorite part of what I do.
Right. So and that same, oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that is probably the thing that keeps me in this line of work more than anything else. I love the individual challenges that I run into with the my individual customers and even my small business customers. Everyone is so unique. Every business is so unique that it's a new challenge and a new problem to solve every time, and it's never the same thing twice. There might be similar applications, there might be similar situations, but I don't think that I could ever just cookie cutter an approach for the rest of my career. I don't think I could ever just sit down and just do the same thing over and over and over again. I like that new and unique, and I kind of get that sense about you as well.
Yeah. So I have one last question.
Okay.
So how do you get rid of the trash in your life when it piles up?
Oh my goodness. I do keep a Goodwill pile. And so I take stuff out to Goodwill when I think, okay, look, I have no use for this. I got to get rid of it. But I do have a little bit of a hoarding instinct. Where if I think that there's some use for it, that I will want to hold on to it. Well, I put that stuff in a pile in the garage, and it's like, okay, when that gets annoying, I will take it to Goodwill and let somebody else get some use out of it, or I donate it. Right now, I would say I'm kind of I try to keep things minimal in the first place, just because my father had a sister, and she was a hoarder. And this is out in rural Nebraska. That's where I grew up. I grew up in Nebraska, and out in rural Nebraska on their farm, it was junk and it was clutter and it was to the roof and it was just scary.
Right.
And I think that kind of shocked me enough to where it's like, man, I kind of don't like it when things build up. And when I get that sense of it, I have no problem throwing it away or donating.
It's very stressful, and people don't realize the stress or the anxiety and depression that it causes. Because I used to be a hoarder. I was a hoarder for like 20 years, and
Okay.
I still like to collect, and I still do. I just have to be more aware of what I'm doing and what I'm collecting and what is the reason behind it. Am I going to keep it? What am I going to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
So I have to be careful, but I still do it. So I don't think that will ever quit, because I love it too much. I love going dumpster diving and finding stuff. Man, that's just my favorite. So I'll be a multimillionaire scrapping metal and dumpster diving.
There you go. And there's nothing wrong with that. I have friends who do the same thing. And they find some of the craziest things at at Goodwill,
Mhm.
or at the different antique shops,
Yeah.
And my sister, I'm not calling her a dumpster diver by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, if she happens to see this, okay, Amy, you're not a dumpster diver.
Yeah.
But she finds value in just these unique pieces of
Mhm.
furniture in the weirdest places. I don't know if you can see behind me, but this is a bookcase that she found at a garage sale that some guy was just getting rid of, and I can't remember the brand of it. It'll come to me, but she saw it and she's like, "Oh, that's a Stegman."
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
And she, it was all kind of tattered, and she restores it. And I was looking at this because I like doing some carpentry every now and then. That's kind of one of my hobbies when I get enough time. And I'm looking at this bookcase, and the shelves are only about 12 inches apart, but they're about 18 inches deep. And I'm like, that's not a standard bookcase. What is up with this thing? And come to find out that this was actually what they call a bookkeeper's cabinet.
Oh, wow.
And these were built early century, before they started all going to metal. These were built early century for when accountants kept their ledgers in those books that were about 12 inches
Oh,
tall,
yeah.
about 18 inches deep, and that's all that this was.
Yeah.
That's all it was designed for. And I've got books in there, and it's like, well, I got to make sure the books are, can fit in there, and I bring them up to the front, but there's like a ton of space behind. So anyway, she finds value like that in all these unique places, and
I don't know.
that requires an eye.
I don't know if you can see it. Okay, there he is. Do you see my my Tin Man?
Yes.
Okay,
Look
so
at
that he's got sardine feet, sardine cans for feet. I mean, this somebody made this. And I'm like, I kept it because I love to build and do stuff. And I'm like, man, I want to build this to make some to maybe sell, right? Of course, I haven't yet, because like when. But I love the fact that somebody put this thing together. Is the coolest thing. It's one of my favorite things. But yeah, he's, I'm like, God, he's got sardine cans for feet and like a number 10 can for his chest. And it's just the coolest thing. So
what did they use for the hat? Is that an actual like tin funnel for the hat?
Yeah, a tin funnel.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
And then
I mean, that's got to be a small one.
It looks like Coke, the bottle Cokes, right? Where you pop off the lid, or a beer cap, whatever, for eyes. And then
are you talking like the tabs, those little tabs?
Yeah, the metal tabs that you got to pry. It could be a beer tab, but yeah. And then I guess the nose is like a cap off maybe a WD-40 can, so they spray painted it all silver.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just so cool. That's the kind of stuff I love. Yeah. So
neat.
And then like I found that disco pig. I had the disco ball, but above me, and then I got the disco pig. I'm like, man, you gotta have a disco pig in your life. You just gotta. So some stuff like that, my son. My son is like, what am I gonna do with all this? I said, I don't care what you do with it. I'll be dead. Burn it, sell it. I don't care. Donate it, whatever. It's your problem. He hates that. He hates it. Yeah. So I got lots of stuff like that I love, but yeah, I just find neat stuff.
That is so cool. That would definitely that Tin Man would definitely go well in my sister's shop. She has a shop. I'm
Yeah.
going to give her a shameless plug here. She has a shop up in Carson, Iowa, which is about 22 miles east of Omaha. It's called Amy's Attic. Go visit it. She's got great stuff.
Sweet, sweet. Well, also leave your contact info for our audience to get in touch with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Visit me on LinkedIn, Scott Paulsen, and I have a business page there, Paulsen Coaching, paulsencoaching.com, and all the contact information's there. Look, I love talking about all things sales, how to make sales better, how to help salespeople, because, man, I was one of those struggling guys for so long. And when I found that right book that, like I said, 30 days in, changed my career. And from then on, I became that ever learning selling student, or student of sales.
Yeah.
And so I've got, like I said, I got nearly 30 years. This is 28 years I've been doing this now.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I'm ending my third decade, heading into my fourth decade of this. And I've probably seen it, experienced it, done it, witnessed it, or, kept people from doing it. So I'm more than happy to help sales professionals and small businesses be as successful as they possibly can be when it comes to their selling activities. That's my plug.
I love it. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, Scott.
Hey,
Sharing
thanks for
your
having me.
stories.
It has been a joy. It has been a true joy.
Awesome. All right. And to our audience, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And we will see you next time. And y'all have an awesome day. Thank you. Bye-bye.